the 4 types of parents and how they impact your life. Unfortunately, we don't have the ability to choose our parents before we are born, and having the good fortune to grow up with parents who have the ability to educate and instruct their children in the right way leads to healthy growth and development of an individual. Diana Baumrind, an American psychologist in the 1960s, created one commonly referenced categorization of parenting styles. The 4 Baumrind parenting styles have distinct names and characteristics: authoritarian, authoritative, permissive, uninvolved. Each style takes a different approach to raising children and can be identified by a number of different characteristics. These Baumrind parenting styles are Western culture-centric, and it is not clear how well these styles describe parents cross-culturally. Each parenting style varies in at least 4 areas: disciplining style, communication, nurturance, and expectations. In the next 5 minutes, you will understand what parenting style your parents used with you, and if you are a parent yourself, you will earn a better understanding of what style you are using with your children. And while you can't change the way your parents raised you, at most you can get pissed off at them after watching this video, you can, if you are a parent, learn a lot in the next few minutes and understand if you're making mistakes that could have an impact on the growth of your son or daughter in the future. Let's get started. 1. Authoritarian parents. Authoritarian parents believe their kids should be seen and not heard. When it comes to rules, they believe it's their way or the highway. They don't take their child's feelings into consideration. Authoritarian parents believe kids should follow the rules without exception. Authoritarian parents are famous for saying, "because I said so," when a child questions the reasons behind a rule. They're not interested in negotiating, and their focus is on obedience. They also don't allow kids to get involved in problem-solving challenges or obstacles. Instead, they make the rules and enforce the consequences with little regard for a child's opinion. Authoritarian parents may use punishments instead of discipline, so rather than teach a child how to make better choices, they're invested in making kids feel sorry for their mistakes. Children who grow up with strict authoritarian parents tend to follow rules much of the time, but their obedience comes at a price. Children of authoritarian parents are at a higher risk of developing self-esteem problems because their opinions aren't valued. They may also become hostile or aggressive. Rather than think about how to do things better in the future, they often focus on the anger they feel toward their parents. Since authoritarian parents are often strict, their child may grow to become good liars in an effort to avoid punishment. 2. Authoritative parents. Authoritative parents put a lot of effort into creating and maintaining a positive relationship with your child. They explain the reasons behind their rules. They enforce rules and give consequences, but take their child's feelings into consideration. Authoritative parents have rules and they use consequences, but they also take their children's opinions into account. They validate their children's feelings while also making it clear that the adults are ultimately in charge. Authoritative parents invest time and energy into preventing behavior problems before they start. They also use positive discipline strategies to reinforce positive behavior, like praise and reward systems. Researchers have found kids who have authoritative parents are most likely to become responsible adults who feel comfortable expressing their opinions. Children raised with authoritative discipline tend to be happy and successful. They're also more likely to be good at making decisions and evaluating safety risks on their own. 3. Permissive parents. Permissive parents set out rules but rarely enforce them. They don't give out consequences very often. They think your child will learn best with little interference from them. Permissive parents are lenient. They often only step in when there's a serious problem. They're quite forgiving and they adopt an attitude of kids will be kids. When they do use consequences, they may not make those consequences stick. They might give privileges back if a child begs, or they may allow a child to get out of timeout early if he promises to be good. Permissive parents usually take on more of a friend role than a parent role. They often encourage their children to talk with them about their problems, but they usually don't put much effort into discouraging poor choices or bad behavior. Kids who grow up with permissive parents are more likely to struggle academically. They may exhibit more behavioral problems as they don't appreciate authority and rules. They often have low self-esteem and may report a lot of sadness. They're also at a higher risk for health problems like obesity because permissive parents struggle to limit junk food intake. They're even more likely to have dental cavities because permissive parents often don't enforce good habits, like ensuring a child brushes his teeth. 4. Uninvolved parents. Uninvolved parents don't ask your child about school or homework. They rarely know where their child is or who she is with. They don't spend much time with their child. Uninvolved parents tend to have little knowledge of what their children are doing. There tend to be few rules. Children may not receive much guidance, nurturing, and parental attention. Uninvolved parents expect children to raise themselves. They don't devote much time or energy into meeting children's basic needs. Uninvolved parents may be neglectful, but it's not always intentional. A parent with mental health issues or substance abuse problems, for example, may not be able to care for a child's physical or emotional needs on a consistent basis. At other times, uninvolved parents lack knowledge about child development, and sometimes they're simply overwhelmed with other problems like work, paying bills, and managing a household. Children with uninvolved parents are likely to struggle with self-esteem issues. They tend to perform poorly in school. They also exhibit frequent behavior problems and rank low in happiness. In recent years, a fifth category of parents has emerged. We can define this category as over-involved parents. In this category, we can find parents who tend to help their children too much, ensuring that they grow up without ever having to face obstacles on their own, managing them almost obsessively, and not allowing them to do anything on their own initiative. The problem is that as they grow up, the children of this type of parent will struggle to overcome the challenges of life on their own, will lack perseverance, and will tend to procrastinate when a task is too demanding. So tell us, in which of these categories would you put your parents in? And if you are a parent, how would you categorize yourself? If you like, leave a comment below the video and share your experience with our community. Sometimes parents don't fit into just one category, so don't despair if there are times or areas where you tend to be permissive and other times when you're more authoritative. It's hard to remain consistent when balancing life and parenting. Don't engage in parent guilt or shame. That's not helpful. The studies are clear. However, the authoritative parenting is the best parenting style. But even if you tend to identify with other parenting styles more, there are steps you can take to become a more authoritative parent. With dedication and commitment to being the best parent you can be, you can maintain a positive relationship with your child while still establishing your authority in a healthy manner. And over time, your child will reap the benefits of your authoritative style. If you liked this video, don't miss the video 5 Signs of a Toxic Family that you can find on this channel. I invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell if you haven't done so already, and wish you a wonderful rest of the day.